Hey,
Hey there.
are we finally here?
I think we are.
My,
I think I'm almost gonna see your video. It's kind of swirling around. Hi, Miss Kimberly. How are you? There we go. We got a lift off, baby.
I'm good. Mine is lagging terribly. My screen keeps freezing and I don't even see you. So
Uh-oh. Well, that's probably best. I'm not looking
there, now
too
I can.
good. Oh, my
It just loaded.
my condolences for having to see my face. All right. Hi, Eric. How are you doing? And I love you so much.
He says, "I'm here, Mom. I love you." He's like,
Oh.
"What's up?" Puts his hands on his hips. He's like, "What's up?"
Well, your big sister's coming over. It's her birthday today. She's going to come and look at houses close to us. Thank you, Jesus. So future grandkids can be just, a stone's throw away. It's going to be awesome.
You said thank you, Jesus. He goes, "No, you mean thank you, Eric."
All right. Okay. Well, I'll thank whoever I need to get the job done. All right. If it's okay with both of you guys, I thought we'd talk about energy a little bit, like energy cleansing. But first, one question I kind of want to know is what the heck is Kundalini energy?
He says, his reaction. He goes, "Ooh." He goes, "Mom, that's high vibrational frequencies that trigger like he's showing, okay, I'm gonna get this boy to use words.
Okay. Use your words,
Okay, so
Eric. I used to say that all the time.
it's he's like, yeah, but he goes, yeah, but pictures are so much easier. So
I know.
okay, this is what he's showing. He says Kundalini. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. Kundalini
I don't know.
energy is a very high frequency, and it has the ability, because of its vibrational, he's using these weird words like length and resolution, but I think he means like concentration, because to me when he talks about what he's like, when he's talking about how high this vibration is, he's like, see over here, this is Kundalini type energy. It's like a high state of awareness, and I feel like I can touch it. It's
Oh,
palpable. So like over here is a different type of energy, and I feel like it's much less dense, if that makes any sense.
okay.
Um, he's saying it has the ability to, when you awaken to it or become aware of it or come into that awareness. Trying to close this garbage popping up on my screen. I can't see you. Anyways, he says that it has the ability to cause like physical transformation or like physical changes. It triggers physical reaction because it's like pushing out. Um, he's using all these goofy images. Like he's showing himself like kneading bread,
Ah,
and then he's like he squishes it between his fingers, and like how it oozes out,
uh-huh.
his fingers. He's like, that energy helps to push out and ooze out like lower vibrational fields, he
Oh,
says. So it actually is like he goes, if you want to call it like a chemical change, um, it creates like an alchemic. I don't know if alchemic is a word.
well, it is
Um,
now.
like that, it is now. Eric says so. Um, so it completely changes you at the cellular level, because it's a higher vibration. So it raises your vibration into a state of like whole body and full body awareness. And he's kind of laughing though, because he says, but like coming into this or waking up to this is not an easy experience. He's so all over the place today, and I'm like, okay, so
Focus,
describe
Eric,
what you mean by
please. Focus, Eric. Or
I
maybe it's
said
us.
I said I said, describe what you mean by easy. And he's like, he sat back and he's smoking. So I'm like, okay, I get it. But what he means is, like what he's showing is this awakening experience isn't easy to uphold and maintain. It takes mindfulness and presence. And when you practice these, um, you can achieve this, but it's not easy. And he's actually like showing, oh, it's kind of gross, but he's showing people like doing a meditation or something to awaken the Kundalini energy or something, but
Uh-huh.
the person who awakens like is also vomiting
Oh.
and like having like these cold sweats. So he's showing like your body can't uphold, like you're purging these lower fields of energy,
But
these lower.
the Kundalini is pushing them out, pushing all the lower energy out, right? And so, what are you
Right.
trying to get rid
And
of toxins and stuff like that? Is that why you're purging, so to speak?
yes, to answer your question, yes, he says, but he's kind of trying to break it down, and he's like, I'm like, okay, so he's showing like, vomiting as a symptom, I guess. Like over here, there's like this person's has cold sweats. Over here, this person like has anxiety. It's so. But he says what these different things represent is just um, areas of. He doesn't even want me to say like lower areas of consciousness because it's not consciousness at all. It's not like presence at all.
Okay.
And when that happens, it says when people hold that energy, that's like one illusion feeding another. It becomes like a playground for illness or for toxins, like
Oh, I
you
can
just said.
imagine. Yeah.
That's why when we do things to raise our vibration, especially because of Kundalini, he says that the special thing about Kundalini energy is it's powerful, and it's the feeling of like instant change, like you know what I mean, like right now. He just keeps snapping his fingers and
Okay.
saying like immediate results or response. Um, so that's why people have these experiences, because they awaken to it, or they come into it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that you like reach for and achieve. It's something that you become,
Oh.
and then in turn, it like pushes out the lower fields that hold on to those toxins,
Well, wait.
and
What?
that's why.
Oh, and that's why
Go
what?
ahead, it's okay.
No, I think you're
He
probably
was
what
just
you're gonna. He's gonna say is more important.
he was just saying like that's why people like have anything from like oh, he says they get the shits and they get the runs.
I
They can have
knew that was gonna
anxiety.
happen. It's like ayahuasca. Is that what ayahuasca does? Is like get your kundalini going?
It cleans your system. Yes, he says.
I feel
He
like
says
calling
that
it.
like very
I feel like calling it kundalini because kundalini sounds like another word that I don't. That just
don't.
gives me a
Yeah,
real weird
I
graphic.
know.
Anyway,
Okay, Kundalini it is.
no, I don't know. We don't. I don't care. I'm just teasing. Now, so wait. So ayahuasca and other hallucinogens is that what happens? Is that why you throw up and have diarrhea and all that stuff when you take those some of those hallucinogens?
He says yes. He says, Mom, ayahuasca and different drugs like that are used for individuals who may not have the capacity to achieve it on their own, like through meditation, like through complete presence and stillness. If someone can't basically shut their mind up or disengage enough with the material world to have these experiences, then they do things like ayahuasca and other types of drugs, he says, to have those like altered states
Mm-hmm.
of awareness that you couldn't otherwise achieve.
What does
So
it do to
I
the
will say,
kundalini? Oh, go ahead.
I'm just going to say this real quick. It's pouring and
Uh
it's
oh.
supposed to storm. So if I lose you, then we'll just try to reconnect.
Yeah, that's fine.
So,
Batten
but
down the hatches. So, what does it do to the kundalini, and what does should with meditation do to the kundalini? Does it make it bigger? Does it like make it flow better? Does it like unblock blockages in it? What is this all about?
it's a field of energy, he says, that, and he's showing like the Kundalini represents like wisdom, but wisdom is not partial. Like wisdom isn't partial to the host. So it's like he's kind of showing like the reverse effect. He says wisdom isn't partial to the host, so anybody can, and that's what like that energy represents. It cleanses you of everything that's in the way of keeping you connected to your highest state of consciousness or your highest state of awareness. So the Kundalini helps, it's an awareness that enlightens you to that wisdom, like the natural wisdom of all that is.
Oh, I see.
So it pushes out everything else that's sort of in the way that kind of like clogs your vision or makes it staticky to hear, you know. It's kind of laughing. He actually said, just like certain drugs and other things, it's not for everybody, because he says, this is interesting. I would like to get deeper sometime with him on this. He says, once you like awaken it, you don't go back. Like, you can't go back. There's no unawakening. It's you come. He says you come into a knowing that you can't unknow.
Yeah.
Like, you can't unlearn.
So be careful what you wish for.
Like, once you wake up. Exactly, because Mom, some people can't handle it. There's still some people that their emotional reality is too much of a burden, and so because he's calling it an all awareness, like, and I literally feel like it's an ability to, when you come into this vibrational frequency, it enlightens you to be able to almost like hear the emotions or thoughts of others and see things that you wouldn't otherwise see. So it's just a more clear sense of all that is. It's he keeps using like this universal symbol, meaning like universal knowledge, universal pool of energy.
Well, what happens if you awaken your Kundalini and you regret it? What can you do? What if it's too much for you?
Well, he says, this is interesting. He snaps his fingers, because this is how he snaps. He's like, he keeps his index finger out. You know how some people like keep their finger down like that?
I think he did that as a kid. I really do.
Like,
yeah,
real sloppy with he snaps like. But he's like, it's real quick, and he says, but Mom, sometimes the awakening is spontaneous, and people don't even intend for it to occur. But he's showing like it's the way energy. I don't even know how to put this into words. It's cause and effect, okay? So perhaps at some point in someone's life, even before coming into this life physically, we created the cause. You know, we created the cause, now we're experiencing the effect. That's usually, he says, when you see like the spontaneous awakening in like the Kundalini. I was going to say it the other way. He's like, no, wait.
Oh, I don't care. Say it how you want.
He said, so some people it's spontaneous. Other people it takes, his language. He says, other people it takes for fucking ever. They try to meditate, and they're like, why can't I? But of course, it's their expectations. And then he says, some people, you know, can follow guides, meditations, and steps, and then achieve that awareness through repetition.
Okay.
But no matter how you achieve that awareness, he says, because he wants to talk about like, well, what if you come into that awareness and you don't want to have it? Well, there's a few things that you can do. He's like shaking his hands like this. He says, first of all, once you know something, you can't really ever unknow it.
Like when you see your parents have sex for the first time. That's no. You never can undo that. Yeah, there we go.
It's funny. Yeah, so he says, once you know something, you can't really undo it, but you can, like, he's actually showing like stuffing it down into your subconscious where you're not conscious of it. And it's all up to you. He says it's all up to the host, because you're the creator of your reality. So in order to do that, like to stuff it down into your subconscious, he says you have to be willing to do the work and figure out, okay, why did this happen? What have I been asking for? What have I been yearning for, kind of, to create this experience? He says he's encouraging people, though, if you're not overwhelmed, if you can like stick with it, then I promise you'll learn a lot from that state of
Oh,
mind, from that
yeah.
point of awareness.
Yeah.
He's like asking people, I know it's overwhelming, but stick with it. And he's like even offering his help. I promise I'll help you through it.
Oh.
But it's because it can be like, I think personally I had an experience like this that was spontaneous, and I was just like, oh my God, what the hell's happening? Like I'm gonna die right now. I just got so like my body. I felt like I was burning. Like I felt like I was burning, but the fire didn't hurt. Like I was so hot.
Mm-hmm.
It was insane. And then I had
Wow.
like that weird, like whole. He calls it like whole body, full body awareness.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically like seeing the world from the perspective of any point of your body. It's really
Oh,
bizarre, but it
wow.
was extremely overwhelming, and it lasted for like a week. And then like going to the grocery store sucked because you could like, I don't know, it's so insane because it's a feeling and a knowing of that oneness to such a level that it's like, wow, I don't know if I can handle knowing
Oh,
how
gosh.
connected we all, and I mean it was intense.
It's like you
So
can use your
I
elbow and say, hey, let me take a look at that cantaloupe. Oh, yeah, that's right.
just
Wow, that is
so it
amazing. So what happened? It just faded away?
yeah, it was a lot for me. And I just shifted my focus to something else.
Mm.
And um, he's also like laughing at me. He's like, yeah, and you also spread yourself too thin. So it's easy to
True.
like pull yourself away from that.
Yeah.
So, but he says, so if you guys have that experience and you aren't ready for it, you aren't ready to see or hear or maintain that state of awareness, you need to state what you are ready for and what you do want to cultivate from any type of experience. Because if you just put it out there that you want to, and you're working towards, your intentions are working towards achieving that awakening, he says, the universe will make it happen. But it's so wide and so open and so vague. So state your intentions with what you're going to do in that state.
For
Because
example.
then it's like you act, he says you then act as your own guide through that process. Like you're
Oh.
putting it out there already.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's really cool. He's showing like projecting your own spirit to guide you through this
Oh.
physical experience. Really, really cool. So an example, like through this awakening, it could be anything as minute and trivial, he says, as like a psychic conversation with a friend that you're not on speaking terms with.
Oh.
From something like that all the way to I'm going to, use this type of energy or state of mind to transform my own physical self. Or it's really, Mom, it's a place of like infinite opportunity, he says, like infinite. Oh, he just interrupted me and he said, this is neat. He's like snapping his fingers again. And Kim, it's such a high vibration that because it's so high, that's why you have these like purging experiences, because manifestation happens rapidly. Like when your vibration's that high, manifestation is like instantaneous. So that's why most people just get overwhelmed, because they're like, he's going like this. He's
Too
like, what the
sudden.
fuck is happening?
It's too sudden. Well, you say that it's
Right.
a high, it's really a high vibration, but it's got a more density. I thought it was supposed to be opposite. The higher the vibration, the less dense the energy is.
He's showing like he's showing like it's a place of pure, like pure energy. Like, okay, follow me for just a minute. This is what he says: solid in itself, of itself, but not actually solid. So like what he means is like pure. Like
Okay.
when he says solid in itself, he's talking about the energy being pure. Okay, hold on. He like interrupted again. And then he said that's why when people have these like rapid experiences or these rapid manifestations too, because we are emotional thinkers, and he's using that with like a negative connotation, I guess. We're emotional thinkers and doers. that we react. Because I said, well, if it's such a good thing, why do we get overwhelmed? Why do
Yeah.
we react? And he's like, well, because that's part of who you are. That's part of your nature. Um, we think, we analyze, we try to rationalize, and then we
Instead of just
react. But if
feeling,
we,
feel first, think second, as Eric says. So
yeah,
we're
and he's like,
using, oh my
you,
God, what the hell is going on? And we're using our brain to
yeah,
scare ourselves, to create
yeah, because
fear.
then when you're like, oh, what's going on? You engage the emotions, the thoughts go crazy, and now you find yourself like being pulled over here and over here. So he says, if you can just be still with the experience and
Feel
allow it
it.
to happen, and yeah, just feel and like just experience, like
Experience. Yeah, right.
no no thinking about it, no rationalizing and analyzing, just experience it. Then later you can write down and think about what you experienced. But he says the energy itself is whole, it's pure. So that's why he's kind of showing it more like a
Solid.
solid
Okay.
thing than,
Okay.
yeah. And when you're in this state, he's like, again, when you're in this state, you have to be very mindful because manifestations are so rapid.
Mm. Where is it in your body? If it is in your body.
It's really interesting that you said that because he just started talking about, he was saying, like, then when you really, I guess, become okay with how to, like, stay in this awareness, you then figure out, it's like you use this awareness because, again, it's extremely heightened, it's like super consciousness, he
Okay.
says. He's showing someone with like a huge head. But so then you have the awareness of like how to change your body. Like people, they can actually change like body processes. Like, and he's using, for example, like a women's menstruation cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can actually change these different cycles in your body when you're in because it's all energy. He
Yeah.
says.
Yeah,
So,
everything is.
and it's
Yeah. And can you use it to get
this,
rid of diseases and stuff?
yeah.
So it's
He
very
says, yeah.
powerfully healing.
It is. And so like when I ask him like, well, where in the body is this? He like he's showing an image of like a belt, like I guess a chastity belt, because he like it literally looks like this contraption that like locks around your hips.
Okay.
So and so he's like he's showing, okay, so he's just so full of information today because he's like, so if you have problems in this area of the body and things in this part of your body are all fucked up, he's like, you're probably there's a lack of um, current, like flow,
Yeah.
energetic flow.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's showing like the hips, and then he's like showing the heart too. So beginning at the hips and the heart, or vice versa, or just both, because it's an alternating when you can allow it
Oh.
to alternate,
It
he says,
pulses,
like,
the flow changes
yes,
back and forth?
yes, he's
Oh.
going back and forth like this.
Hmm.
And then when you can be okay with that, then you can go like this. He's like
Oh.
showing it going up to the head, but allowing the head to be involved only for like that super consciousness, not for
Yeah.
like to figure this out and find out what's happening.
Oh, yeah, no.
Because
Right.
as soon as you do that, you step out of that like field of energy or state of awareness.
But what do you mean when you say awaken the energy? What does awakening energy look like? What does that mean?
He says, think about it the other way around. The energy is already there and it's already awake. It's
Oh.
more of a matter of us awakening to it because
Oh.
he says like it's not something that you strive to and you reach outwardly for, but it's something that you kind of like fall into and become. Like he's showing himself like this is such a cool image. Like imagine him just Eric in a field and it's super dense fog all around him, and all you can see is Eric just standing there. And he goes like this, and he just falls back, and then you can't see him anymore because he fell into like the clouds or the fog. So it's kind of the same thing. It's like an energy that you fall into, that you
Oh.
immerse. Like it's there, it's in you, You just allow it, I
Oh,
guess,
that's
to
cool.
surface.
Do energy healers use our Kundalini energy to heal us?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
He's talking about, hang on, what was he saying? He's talking about something. I'm gonna have him repeat what he was saying real quick, and then I'll have him like elaborate on your question.
Okay.
He's talking about like how you fall into that awareness sort of, and he's like from one person to another. Obviously, the experience is radically different because everybody, to a degree, goes like this, is radically unique, like what's happening in your physical body.
Sure.
So the experiences that you have when you awaken to it are much are not always, they're not always the same, they're not similar. That's what he's trying to show.
Okay.
And then so it's a matter of, he's talking about your question now, like with energy healers. He says it's a matter of, he says, I don't want you to think about it like this. I don't want you to think that you have this awareness and now and because you're an energy healer, you're going to give it to someone else. You don't give your energy, he says, because then you're just exhausting
Yeah.
your resources. And he says, I can do it because I'm not physical and I don't get exhausted, but the physical body does.
Mm.
So he says, you need to understand that it's, as an energy healer, and especially in the Kundalini type energy, that is powerful enough to move like lower vibrational fields so that your client or your patient, whatever you want to call them, you move like the lower fields of energy to allow this like awakening to happen
Okay.
within them too.
Oh, okay.
So it's not like I'm going to give you my energy. It's more like
You're
I'm going to
moving energy.
clear your energy so you can awaken to it yourself. You see what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
Um,
What else can we do with our Kundalini energy? We can heal ourselves. We can, tap into all that is and become big know-it-alls. Encyclopedia Britannicas. Oh,
he
what else?
says, yeah, you can actually become a know-it-all, meaning this is a place, Mom, of infinite wisdom. There are people that walk the earth that are ready to uphold this like 24/7, but not very many.
Yeah, I
And he
bet
says,
Jesus, Buddha, people like that
yeah,
probably, yeah,
yeah,
were awakened to
because
their
he's saying
Kundalini energy.
it's it's a place of wisdom where you can access anything about yourself, your friends and family, the world around you. It's also a place he's showing like interdimensional travel.
Oh,
So you can even change your own form and change the forms. change Oh, this is interesting. He goes, you can change the forms of other things. And he's like winking. He goes, hint, hint, energy healers. And then when he said that, he said, but energy healers are like infinite. They're like way down here on the scale of like what you can do. So we've only scratched the surface of what we can do
yeah.
with this energy. It's like, and two, he's showing, I know we've talked about this before, that guy, David Blaine,
Oh,
like
yeah,
how,
the magician.
yeah, because he says that he is in this awareness, or he's in this enlightened state completely. And Erik is showing him like bending a quarter, like
Oh, gosh,
because
he
he
can
knows
do, yeah.
energy makeup.
Mm-hmm.
So he also knows what to do to manipulate it to change its form.
Amazing.
But he says humans. See,
Here
I
comes
just
the
could go on and on.
insults.
No, I could just go on and on all day because I'm like, well, I just get more where I just ask so many questions because he's going, humans just have this to get over,
Oh, yeah.
and then they could be in this state, and I'm like, well, then why do we have that if it's such a problem, such a burden? And then he's like, well, it's just a tool to like navigate your human experience, just the thinking, the thought process. But really, it takes He says, I want you guys to practice. It takes no thought at all, he says. But he says, I want you guys to practice communicating and being and existing, coexisting with others without saying anything, or even like giving hints through body language. Like, but more so listen too. Like, listen and receive as much as you can without communicating, or it's
Or
because
analyzing.
you're learning, right, and you're learning to communicate on the most natural level that there is, but the highest level. And then you're learning to communicate beyond the use of like the physical senses.
Yeah.
So he says, oh, that makes sense. He goes, be careful, watch out though, because when you really begin to practice this, you are practicing silencing this, which is a trigger for the Kundalini energy. Like, so if you practice that type of, or that way of being, you're already about ready to pull the trigger to like that spontaneous sort of awakening.
Is that behind some instances of spontaneous human combustion? The energy's too much and poof, they just go up in flames?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. He told me I need to put my hands down. He's like, you talk with your hands too much. Put your hands down.
Oh, no.
So whatever. I didn't realize I talk, but I mean, I know I do. But so he says, mom's spontaneous combustion is basically, I don't know why it's so funny to him. he's just laughing at like a human that, and he's not incompassionate. He's laughing because he understands the process. But because literally all I see is like a pair of shoes and then like ashes, like an explosion.
Oh, no.
And he says that spontaneous combustion happens when basically it's too much too soon.
Yeah.
And it's that like shift in energy, in the vibration. It's just like Mom, he says, he's showing himself playing with like two electrical wires that like don't have a ground or something. And like you put them together and it like sparks real big, you know, and it's like, oh, don't make the wires touch. So it's the same thing with us if we're really not present, which we're far beyond that now, he says. But he's showing like too much too soon, too much change inside the body, the vibrational fields shift, and that combustion occurs. He says, he's so sweet and funny sometimes. Like he's shaking his head and he said, you'd be surprised if you realize how much like an electrical current you really are.
I bet. We need one of those GCFI or GFCI plugs in our body. Maybe we have one. I don't know. So what do you want us to do with this whole Kundalini energy information? What do you want us to go on YouTube and find meditation tracks to awaken to our Kundalini, or do you want us to? What do you want us to do? Just.
That's a great question. I'm gonna have it answer that in just a second.
Yeah, sure.
He says he was talking about that concept of like all of us being an electrical current, and he says, I want you guys to understand. He's like, you're all conduits. You're all a conduit of energy, whether you know it or not, whether you realize it or not. He says, why do you think we have so many empathetic or empathic like sufferers? He says, because we're always channeling energy, always. You can't not, or you would be dead. True. He says, basically. So I don't know. He's just trying to show a bigger picture concept, I guess. So forgive yourself sometimes when you have shitty days where you feel like shit, because you're probably channeling something that's not yours.
Yeah. Ask yourself, is this mine or is it somebody else's? And you can usually recognize, hey, this does not feel like my shit. You know?
This just isn't me. It just doesn't feel like me. Yeah.
So, what do we do?
Okay, you asked him. Sorry, that's my bread maker is going to beep for a minute, and I can't do anything about
it. That's
okay. So your question is what to do with this energy, like once we come into that awareness? He says, well, first of all, the energy itself, when you're like in this awareness, it's you're different. So your thinking is different and your actions are different.
Yeah.
So naturally, you're going to behave differently. So when you have this awareness, though, and you have, or even you've tapped into it, he's going like this, like you've tapped into it, then you can tap back into it. It's difficult for us to maintain, but when you do, he says, okay, this is what he's doing. He's like looking at his fingers. He goes, top two, no, top three things I would want you to do with it. Heal yourself. Use that energy to work on you. Use
How do
that
I do
enlightenment.
that? Yeah, how do we do that? Just
Like,
imagine it going through our body and pushing out all the bad energy, or what?
yeah, let me acknowledge these two, or else I'll lose it because I don't.
Okay,
Memory
go
doesn't
ahead.
work in this.
Oh, yeah.
He says, heal yourself, heal others, and heal your planet. That's it. He says, okay. So heal yourself. How do you do that? Well, with this, he says, with this enlightenment, you'll have a better capacity. This is what he's actually showing. You'll have a better capacity to shift your consciousness outside of you and basically take a peek in and look in. So it's literally like seeing yourself from an almost external
like a doctor
perspective.
Like a doctor examining a patient.
Exactly, and
Okay.
examine yourself. But you don't really have to examine, because in this enlightened state, you shift your awareness to examine yourself, so to speak. But then in this enlightened state, you will already naturally see where you should focus. And the information will be there. So here's an example. Like he's showing himself stepping outside of his body, and then he peers in, and then there's all of these yellow lights, they're orange yellow, so it's like a caution type of color.
Okay.
So there's one over the heart, there's one above the shoulder, in between right here.
Okay.
And then one by the left hip. So but you guys can create that symbolically. Maybe it's red for you. These red areas you need to focus on. So go there, you put your awareness there, your consciousness. Through consciousness, you can shift your awareness. So then this is what I am experiencing with him. He peers in, I see the heart, and naturally, and I see that color, so I already know what that color means. I should pay attention and heal this place. So it's I'm hearing this chatter. Okay, so this chatter represents a past experience, and this is just an example.
Yeah.
That Erik had of getting into a disagreement, or more so a disappointment with a good friend. So he's looking and he sees that chatter. So basically he's seeing a memory that is still being held in his heart.
Which can cause disease.
But,
yeah.
Yes. And it's still in. He's tripping me out right now. This is so wild. Oh, God. I wish I could just articulate this. I'll try.
You're doing great.
He actually says, when you see this, he says, Kim, this is now. This is live. Okay, so this chatter I'm seeing as I'm looking through Erik's perspective, and I'm looking in, see his heart, and I see this, I hear this chatter, right? And he's like, but this is live. I said, what do you mean? Because I know we can hold things from the past.
Yeah.
In our heart, which is not really in the now, but he said, well, the physical body has no way of knowing if it's a real physical experience or a fake synthetic experience. Either way, whatever you're holding on to stays. Whatever you're holding on to attaches itself. So the physical body doesn't know that this is in the past.
Okay.
And it's done. The mind is what's keeping it there. So you have to be able to connect these two, and he says, make them be best friends. They have to be best friends, the mind and the heart.
Okay.
Because if they disagree, you make yourself sick. So anyway, long story short, step outside yourself and examine. Allow yourself to be guided, though, he says. Don't go in I need to look at my thoughts and see what I'm thinking about that could be causing blah, 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 blah,
yeah,
blah.
Oh, yeah.
He's don't just go in and allow yourself to be guided to see what you see. then he shows, again, he's just showing himself like examining other areas that were given to him, of areas to focus on. And when I said given to him, he said, I didn't create this. Okay, this was by God.
Yeah.
That this information here, like the ultimate source, that this information's here. So it's not like you even have to ask yourself, what should I look for, or what does it represent?
Yeah.
Because
He's
again,
guided. Yeah.
allow it to happen. The information's there.
So you see a red spot or a yellow spot. What do you do with it?
He says, okay, he says, but think about it like this. You're the student. It's like if you're in a classroom, you just sit and listen. Okay. You let them teach you. So let this process tell you and teach you too. And when you find these areas like that are affected or whatever, knowing that you have this super consciousness, this energy available to you at all times, use that energy. He's showing like pushing it forward to a couple things here. Okay, to dissolve what your body's holding on to. Mm-hmm. You dissolve it, you transmute it, you work through it. He's like literally showing like pushing this higher energy, this Kundalini energy, to transform that orange into white.
Okay.
Like that's literally what's like pushing this energy out of your chest, and it's like those Care Bears,
Yeah, Care Bear stare. That's right. So is that Kundalini energy white as well, or gold?
I heard him say initially he said it's red, and then he said, well, it actually depends on the person though, and it depends on their vibration, their colors, and like what they're going through.
Okay.
Has a lot of red, or a lot to do with what red represents.
That's pretty amazing.
So he also says like let the symbols come to you, like let the symbols talk to you. So because it may not be colors, it might be like a stop sign, it might be symbols that you see instead. So okay, so that's heal yourself, heal others, same thing. It's the very same process.
Right.
And then same thing, but on a global aspect, heal the planet that you live on. Mm-hmm. He says you'll see a day where you need this planet to work for you. Yeah. So you better work for it while you have time, he says. And he's showing the same process. It's a little more in depth because it's a planet that's affected by so many. So he's doing the same thing. He says you can tap into a collective consciousness. You can tap into a geographical location. You shut that off. What? That's the book company. They want me to do my press release.
All right.
But you guys can do the same thing on all three levels: self, others, and your planet, because ultimately that's what you need. That's what you need. You need each other. You should take care of each other.
Sure.
And you need the place you live on. So take care of it. And he's kind of saying like with the earth, it's going to be a little bit different though. Like when you intend to do this healing, it's going to be a little bit different because the energy is going to feel different and the things you see will look different. So what he means by this, like he's showing me actually black. Okay. So I guess black represents the obvious, like death or dying or deceased.
Okay.
So, but this is in relation to the earth, the planet. So there are many places that have that type of energy. Yeah. And it comes from, it's talking about like humans having the awareness that we do, like in our thought process, and the type of beings that we are and what we do to the earth, and how that, like we same way that we like, push that energy from our heart, we push that energy into the earth as well. He said again, he's like, I'm reminding you, you're more of an electrical current, you're more of a current than you realize. And so he's actually showing like sending energy down into the earth through the feet. So like if you walk around all pissed off and you're stomping, like that energy you're emanating that.
energy yeah. So emanate Kundalini energy through the feet to the core of the earth, and then spread it up to the crust, or how do you want us to heal the planet? Give us a simple technique and make it simple, because we be simple.
Yes, we're simple. I like simplicity. Um, he says, he goes, well, simplicity is the key to awakening to this, or becoming, like, coming into this anyway. So the more I don't know how this makes me feel about myself, because he goes, the more simple you are, the more awake you can get, or the higher consciousness you can get.
Okay.
So, but he's showing, like, um, you can be as transparent with it as you want, meaning, like, I'm willing to do or be whatever I need to with this energy, to allow it to heal wherever it's needed. When you talk to the universe that way, he says, when you speak to the universe that way, remember that thing, Mom? He goes, cause and effect.
Yeah.
You're the cause, and now your intentions with the effect are the universe, or the earth rather. So the earth will capture that.
Okay.
It is automatic. It's no other way. It can't be any other way. It's like when you send that out energetically, then so it is, and so it shall be. So you can get specific with it too. Like if there's, a certain place that just had, I don't know, a mass shooting or something, you can send energy to that collective, because that collateral damage can cause more collateral damage to the earth.
Sure. Well, let me ask you just two more questions. Can you use this Kundalini energy to manifest for yourself? And if so, how? Like a new job, or a better relationship with your spouse, not anything. Or something tangible, even like a boat.
He says you can, because it's you're in a heightened state of awareness or knowingness, and in that, for one, in that vibration, manifestation occurs quicker, because you're not bogged down with this, like the thought process. When you're in that energy, you're not bogged down with the thoughts, and when we are bogged down with the thoughts, we have less capacity to manifest. So when you're in that heightened state of consciousness, you have a deeper understanding of knowing that whatever you put your intentions to, your energy, your vision to, you create. You know you are your creator.
Okay.
So it's quick, he says.
All right. So basically about intention. That's how you create it. Within this state of awareness, the Kundalini awareness.
Right, and he's saying, like, that super consciousness, that Kundalini energy. Again, you have a deeper sense of knowing, like, and what he. Hey.
And we're back. It was raining cats and dogs, and she lost her internet. Everything okay and safe?
Oh yeah, that was crazy. It just poured for a minute, and now the fields are flooded, but it's all good. My dog is here because he's freaking out because there's lightning and stuff. So I'm gonna let him sit on my lap. I usually okay, but he's like whining and scared to death.
Our black cat Ringo is scared to death of any kind of rain. Poor little baby. All right, well, real quick, I just have one more question. Actually, one real quick one, and then another one. Does Kundalini energy, if we use it to do things, does it run out, or we just replenish it from, or is it replenish it from source, or what?
He says no, it doesn't run out. So he says, think of it like a station that you tap into, like a vibration that you tune into, plug into, and allow or become.
Okay.
But be mindful that, again, he says, people they think that it, like, runs out or it exhausts them to use it, because they're not using it correctly, or channeling it or sharing it correctly. They think that they have to, they use themselves, or they give themselves, instead of
allowing,
like, using the energy. Right, instead of, like, using the energy and channeling it, sort of like letting it flow through you to help another in whatever way you want to help. So be mindful that you don't do that, because he says people all the time, they think, oh, I got to get all happy and lovey-dovey, and then, oh, I'm going to send you all this happiness, and I'm giving you my happiness. And he's like,
I want to keep my happiness, thank you.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're super tired, he says, or exhausted, or maybe even, he says again, because we are like, we're channels, we are affected by everything around us.
Sure.
As soon as, like, even for like energy healers, as soon as you touch someone, you can very easily become, or you don't even have to touch them. He says, like, you have to just be in their biofield. You can easily absorb them. Yeah. So be careful that you don't give them all your good shit, and then in turn you take all their bad shit.
No way. All right. Well, last question, and then I want you to talk about yourself and what's going on in your life. But how do we awaken our Kundalini? What do you want us to do? Do we go to YouTube and look up how to awaken my Kundalini? Do we listen to special music from iTunes? I mean, give us a simple step one.
Okay, he goes, step one, step away. he's gonna use himself as an example. Like if he's Erik and he's gonna try to open or connect to this Kundalini energy, he's like, step one, step away from the Erik, step away. So he's saying, like, step away from the egoic self, like, the self that we created and we know here, because now you're in a clean, pure place to have this realization occur. So you have to set yourself aside. It means mastering this too, he says. But Mom, he says, a lot of people have to. This is why guided meditations are so good. Get on YouTube, listen to a podcast, a guided meditation, because number one, people can't quiet their own thoughts enough. Some can, he says, but for the ones that can't, use a guided meditation. Also, guided meditation helps those who, like, it's like there's some people, he says, that are like so stuck on doing it right, or like, doing it a certain way that they sort of miss it.
Yeah, like step one, step two, step three, yeah.
Yeah, and then you're so freaking bogged down with these steps, he says, that you're not even like open, you're overthinking it.
Okay.
So allowing yourself to be guided is very beneficial for a lot of people. And it also helps those that have like expectations of certain outcomes to sort of let go of those expectations too, and again, let yourself be guided. So for the majority, he says, practice with he says practice with like guided meditation.
Okay.
Also, it does happen spontaneously. So if you feel like you've had some radical energetic changes and you're not sure what the hell's going on with your body, he says, do some research. Do your favor and do some research and look into what you're feeling and see if it matches up with the most common things that happen in this type of awakening. It's not going to be the same set of like symptoms, he says, when this happens, but you'll get the point, he says.
So Google awakening Kundalini energy or something like that. That sounds good. Okay.
He keeps referencing yoga too, like a Kundalini yoga.
Oh.
He looked at me and he goes, why is it so hard for you to pronounce it like that? I guess I'm just used to saying Kundalini because I'm like, I don't know how to say it. And I'm like,
that's probably the right way. It might be the right way.
I have
anything else.
I'm going to Google that when we're done. I'm going to Google that information.
Anything else you want to share?
He's showing like with like yoga, if jujitsu was your thing, or like kung fu, like tai chi, all of these body movements, that it's like meditation with like physical body movement is even more effective in moving energy.
Okay.
So he's showing that's another way. It's more. Well, okay. He was like going like this, and I was gonna say it's a more effective way to have that awakening. And he goes, wait. He goes, yeah, that's safe to say.
Okay.
So, because mind, when you're moving the body, Mom, he says, like if it's yoga or whatever, you're required to be present with that. So you're
True.
more aware, you're more present. And so mind, body, and spirit are more engaged.
I see.
So get up and move, he says. He's like snapping his fingers. He just said, I think more people should try jujitsu.
Okay. Well, what about somebody else awakening our energy for us? The lazy man's way to awakening your Kundalini. Can somebody move our Kundalini around and boom, wake up? Hello, alarm clocks are clanging.
He has such a funny smile on his face. He's like cheesing. He says that they can. Other people can do this for you too, especially those that have had this epiphany or realized this energy. It's basically helping you shift your awareness to it.
Okay.
Because it's there. It's not like it's silent until you discover it and then it's happening. It's still happening. It's just your awareness isn't perceiving it.
It's doing its thing.
Other people through like different types of traditions, rituals. He's showing like a so I don't know what this means. Like, have you ever heard of like a labyrinth walk? Am I saying that right? Like he's showing like it kind of reminds me of a medicine wheel, but he says it's not the same. It's like someone like walking in a circle or like a spiral motion. Like the walking is meditation. Anyway, that's another way to but this is a guided thing. That's why he's saying, he said energy can awaken it in other people. And then he was even saying like you can have facilitators. So like there's a facilitator it's telling you like to walk in this thing, and that can raise your awareness too. Like he's like showing it shoot up your consciousness, or your vibration raises. Again, it's the presence required in the walking and like in the yoga. I mean, with that physical action, it requires presence. And usually, Mom, he says, when you're doing yoga or if you're walking in a circle, you're focused on what you're doing, because if you think about something else, you'll lose your balance and fall. Right? So if you're present with what, then you're not thinking as much.
Okay,
so
that sounds good.
That's why yoga is so damn you.
And of course, there's always ayahuasca. All right, that's great, Eric. If there's anything else you want to share, go for it. Otherwise, I would like to hear what Kim has to offer everybody.
He says, I love you, Mom.
I love you.
Blowing kisses. He looks at me, he goes, all right, sayonara.
Love you, Eric. Bye.
He says, I love you, Mom. He always gets so mushy when he says that too. Like he stands like his shoulders feel so strong to me. And then when he says that, he kind of like softens his shoulders. He's like, I love you, Mom. So it's real sweet. But yeah, I have lots of fun things I'm trying to put out there for everybody that could benefit. My book looks like it's going to launch in June. It could actually probably launch sooner than that, but I got to get it right with my schedule, so it's going to have to wait.
That's awesome.
In June, my book Inside Out will be available. I'm hoping like mid-June to do a book launch event. It's called Inside Out. It's just a book that helps you sort of master yourself to maintain inner peace in a world where we turn ourselves inside out to find that peace, and we're left empty-handed.
Yeah.
So
what a great concept. Great concept. How can we find it when it's?
It was my guides. I was just the channel. I just typed as fast as I could to keep up.
Oh, give yourself some credit. But people might be listening to this in August. So where can they find it?
Yes. It will be on Amazon, and it'll be listed in all your major bookstores, and of course on my website at kimbabcock.net. So keep your eye out for that. If you guys have any questions about anything, please don't hesitate to send me something through Facebook, or send me an email through my website. And of course, in June, we're going to do an event in Asheville, and then after that, we're going to do Nashville.
Nashville.
The event in Asheville is where I'm hoping to do the book launch. So I should be able to announce that either later this week or next week. I just got to connect with them. That's why they keep calling. So you got to connect with them, set up a date, and get everything ready to go.
Sounds great. So check out her site because she's always somewhere doing some event, and it may be close to you, and it's certainly well worth it, guys. Bye, everybody. Bye, Kim. Thank you.
Bye, guys. My pleasure. Anytime.
Bye-bye.
Prepárate.